Hello.
Are you the NFL's next great edge rusher?
Oh, that's a great question. That's why we got training camp. We're gonna work on that. But I think it's pretty cool how the coaches are experimenting with me being on the edge. Hopes changes the game up a little bit. Shows my versatility, and I'm just trying to affect the game.
Isn't that kind of what the Jags did with Calais Campbell the last year or so, and it's worked out pretty well?
Yeah, it worked out pretty well for them. So we're working through it through training camp, seeing how things go, and hopefully it's a thing we can do throughout the year.
You watched a lot of film on him the last couple of years too. Did you look more this year at his edge rushing style too?
Yeah, I watched a little bit of his edge rushing style and everything. With him, he closes the gap between him and the tackle. Just working on closing that space as fast as possible, and that's kind of what every edge rusher tries to do, and that's what I've been trying to work on.
Do you find yourself in one-on-one matchups more frequently when you're on the outside as opposed to the inside?
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, it depends on, where we're showing blitzes and stuff like that, or where the linebackers are showing on the line. So it really affects the slide of the protection.
Robert Saleh was just now saying that his whole emphasis this offseason is to get you more one-on-one matchups. You see that happening?
Yeah, definitely. I've been seeing it a little bit throughout training camp. But we'll see as the year goes on. Teams, last year they're definitely finding ways to try to double me and stuff. So we're definitely going to see as the year goes on.
Have you thought to yourself, or have you told the coaches that you'd like to be moved around a little bit more, or is that something that they approached you about?
Yeah, they just. I went into meetings one day and they told me, "Hey, Buck, you're going to be at the end position in this package." So I was like, "All right, sounds good." It's a confidence booster that they can see that I'm able to rush on the edge. I did it a little bit, my rookie year, and it's kind of fun being able to be back out there.
With you being on the edge, that's moved Solomon inside in that package you mentioned. How do you think he's benefiting from that, just given that it seems like that's what he did more of in college?
Yeah. Like you said, Solly played more in the inside in college, so it would definitely benefit him, especially being able to go one-on-one against the center. I think Solomon's a very athletic, player, so I think he'll be able to match up against centers very well. And also, it really depends on, what we're showing and everything. Eventually, teams will kind of get confused with the type of package we're running, and guys will turn free.
Made his biggest stride since last season.
Really just his confidence. He approaches every day, really to get better. And also, if he, loses or whatever, he doesn't dwell on it. Like last year, he would dwell on it a little bit, but he knows how to. I feel like this year he's been doing a lot better with, something that doesn't go too well, he just flush it down and move on to the next play. And I feel like he's been doing that really well and using his hands a lot more this year.
In terms of technique, Saleh was just saying that him and all of you are really doing well with your secondary move. What have you seen from Thomas's technique?
Yeah. Sally's been doing a really good job, like I said, with using his hands. And, if his first move doesn't work, he's learning to finish. Even though your first move doesn't work, it doesn't mean, you're done pass rushing. It doesn't mean the play's over. And especially even in one-on-ones when we're working on our technique and everything, he's been doing a lot better job with finishing the play.
The offensive guys have talked about how detailed, in-depth watching Kyle break down tape is and some of the things. From a defensive player's perspective, do you get that same level of depth and knowledge watching him do that?
No, yeah. In team meetings, he shows, highlights from both sides of the ball, and he breaks it down every time. Every time we go through the play, he breaks down every possible scenario and all that. So I feel like everybody, kind of gets the gist of everything that he's, talking about, and going through each step of the play, on what can happen, when guys also, like on defensive side, when guys can take shots and can't take shots, you know what I mean, and trying to make a play, stuff like that. So I think it really helps the defense too.
What is what you're doing on the edge to what you did at Oregon, if at all?
Yeah. I feel like at Oregon, I rushed on the outside a little bit and in the inside, but it's pretty similar. When I'm out there, I got to. Objective is to beat the tackle, so you know what I mean. So it's the same thing. I'm just working on what benefits me out there. and what are my strengths out there, and you know what I'm able to do to beat the tackle.
DeForest, when did they tell you you'd be part of that package? Was that in this training camp?
Yeah.
Okay, so fairly recent.
Yeah, I just walked in, like I said, I walked in one day and they said we're putting this package in and they're putting me on the outside. So.
With Eric out for a little while, Julian Taylor's gotten some time with the ones. Can you talk about him and what his growth since he's gotten here?
Yeah, Julian's, he's going to be a great player. You know, he's been kind of bullying some guys out there. You know, he started off with the threes and coach them, moved them up with the ones, and I feel like he's been doing pretty well. He's working on his technique and using his hands more. Because I feel like once he starts to use his hands a lot more and getting separation, he's going to be a problem.
Back on Kyle for a second. Have you ever had a coach who's as in-depth and detailed as he is with stuff?
I feel like almost every coach is pretty in-depth on, you know, their scheme and what they're trying to do. But I've never been with a coach like Kyle. You know, he's a genius, you know, when it comes to, you know, creating plays and everything. And, you know, it's pretty cool just watching him and listening to him break down plays.
And then a guy who's named his son after Lil Wayne, and you know some of the other things. There seems to be a kind of an interesting balance there with his personality as well. How unique is that to see in football?
Yeah, it's pretty cool. You know, he's a very approachable guy. You know, a lot of coaches sometimes, you know, a lot of coaches that are, you know, really good at what they do, it's kind of hard. They're kind of hard to, you know, be approachable. But Kyle's a pretty approachable person, and he can relate, you know, to any person. So it's pretty cool, and to get to know him on a personal level too.
Considering you played the role of an interior and outside pass rusher, what do you feel most comfortable playing?
Honestly, I'm comfortable on the inside and the outside. So when the coaches told me that I was going to be on the end, I was excited. You know, I didn't feel like it was a challenge. It was an opportunity to show them what I can do, you know, and my versatility.
What do you like rushing about on the edge so much? Obviously, the one-on-one matchups are.
And you have more room to work your moves. You know, on the inside, it's you know, tight quarters, and you know, you don't have much time to, you know, work what you want to do. And I feel like in the outside, I'm able to, you know, work a little more.
Joe Staley said anything funny to you on the practice field while you're going against him?
I can't think of anything specific, but you know, me and Joe, we talk a little bit on the practice field, you know, and it's always fun being able to go against him, especially in one-on-ones and everything, and because we're both trying to get better.
Did you get any feedback from him yesterday after facing him in one-on-ones a couple of times?
Yeah, he was just, you know, he was just telling me what's kind of hard going against me with a guy like me on the outside. You know, he was just saying with how big and strong, he has to set a certain way. With guys like me, he can't really do what he normally does, I guess. He didn't really go into depth like that, but you know, it's always fun going against him because he's one of the best.
Can you talk about the chemistry between having Chris Kiffin and Jeff Sconina as kind of dual D-line coaches?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you know, having Kiff, he's, you know, it's kind of a balance. You know, Coach Z, he's a loud guy. You know what I mean? And Kiff is pretty quiet, and but like they kind of balance each other out. You know, when we're in practice with you know, doing the run game, and Z's really, you know, coaching us up on that and everything, and how to, you know, do our run reads and everything. And Kiff, you know, he's the whole pass rush side of everything. And you know, just when we were in the classroom, you know, both of them, they do a really good job with breaking it up. You know, and we watch film on all of the run plays throughout practice. You know, what we need to work on, you know, what we did good and everything, and technique-wise, and the next half of, you know, watching film would be watching film with Kiff and all of the pass plays that we had pass rushes on, and you know what we need to do better, pass rushing as a unit and individually with our technique. So it's a good balance.
Thanks, Steve.